Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our current session focuses on direct method sample activities. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would have some idea or sense of how activities can be designed in the direct method and how they can be created or formulated if they are to be used to teach English language or any other language for that matter in a classroom setting. Well, when it comes to designing activities for the direct method, there are certain key aspects that need to be kept in mind. The first important aspect or key aspect is to show. What does it mean? To point to visual aid or gestures, for example, for verbs, to ensure student clearly understand what is being taught. So, the teacher indicates or the teacher points out or the teacher refers to through gestures or through finger, etc., to the linguistic item that is to be taught. This visual aid, this pointing out helps the learner to pick the new item quickly. The second key aspect is to say. What does it mean to say? The teacher verbally introduces the element with care and enunciation. What does it mean? The new linguistic item, the teacher pronounces that, carefully pronouncing that with the correct pronunciation, with the correct stress and unstress, the teacher introduces the learner to the new linguistic item. The third important aspect is to try. Now, this is the step where student makes various attempts to pronounce the new element. Now the teacher actually provides an opportunity to the student, and not only provides opportunity but also encourages the student to attempt at pronouncing, to give voice to the new linguistic item that is introduced. And it is not done only once, rather it is done repeatedly so that the student not only grasps it but also gets comfortable with its pronunciation. The next important aspect is to mold. Here the teacher corrects the student if necessary, pointing to mouth to show proper shaping of lips, tongue, and relationship to teeth. So for example, wa or v. These two sounds, if you notice the movement of my lips, wa or v. So in this way, the teacher through the movement of lips, through the movement of mouth would show to the learner how a certain sound is to be produced for a particular word. And the next important aspect is to repeat. Here the student repeats each element 5 to 20 times. So this is more like a drill. Repeating it again and again facilitates the learner not only to understand the new item but also to retain it in the memory. Then, there is an introduction to the correct location of the new element in the sentence. Now that a linguistic item is learned, it is introduced in a sentence. The teacher fits it into the sentence, and the learner, through the drill of that sentence, learns how it is placed or where is the placement of that particular linguistic item in a sentence structure. The next key element is say and repeat. Now the teacher states a phrase or a sentence to the students, and the student or the whole group of students, they drill it or they repeat it for 15 to 15 times or 20 times. This repetitive drill makes them comfortable with the use of the structure, and it is retained in their memory as well. Another important aspect of designing any activity or how to conduct an activity according to the direct method in a language teaching classroom is to ask and reply in negative. So for these kind of activities, the teacher uses element in negative situations. For example, are you the President of the United States? Or are you not the President of the United States? Or are you the teacher? Or are you not the teacher, etc. And the student says yes or no. On the more advanced stages, even the negative with not, you are not, are you not the president, for example, used by the teacher to give the drill to the students. Also, interrogatives are used for giving this drill, and the teacher provides intuitive examples using different W WH questions. What are WH questions? The questions that start with who, what, where, why, or when. So who are you? Where do you come from? Why do you want to do this? When are you going to leave? How are you doing, etc. So when a kind of drill is given in the use of these interrogatives, the students learn how to use interrogatives. The teacher also uses random variations for practice. The teacher keeps on switching from one to the other and thus makes the students comfortable in using them. Another example is of the use of pronouns with verbs. For example, using visuals such as photographs or illustrations, or even by using gestures, the teacher covers all the pronouns. Use of random variations for practice such as, is Sarah a woman? Are they from Japan? So, is Sarah a woman? Yes, she is. So the use of pronouns is drilled in the class through these question answers as well. One significant aspect of the sample activities that are used in direct method is the student-led limits. The teacher observes the student carefully to know when mental saturation point is reached. What does it mean? It means the teacher has to be vigilant to know, to judge, and to evaluate that when the student or the group of students they reach a point which is a saturation point, which means they have got enough of the new vocabulary, they have got enough of the new items of language and enough of the drill, and they at that time point cannot absorb more than that. So this indicates students should not be taught more elements until another time. So, the teacher, based on his or her observation, based on his or her own experience of dealing with the students, based on the kind of responses that the students or the learners give, decides what is the point or where is the point to stop introducing new items and to postpone them or to delay them till the next time. Well, from the perspective of review, I would say teacher keeps random arbitrary sequencing. If appropriate, teacher uses visual pointing quickly to each for the purposes of review and employs different examples of elements that are easy to understand. For example, changing the country name or the city name in the same drill, or changing the name of people in the same structure or in the same sentence, that students already know, and would thus the teacher would thus take the students one by one through the same drill. The last key element that I would like to talk about when it comes to designing activities for the direct method is the use of observation and notation. Teacher maintains a student's list of words or phrases that are most difficult for a certain student. So actually, by keeping a record of what is difficult or what is easy for a particular student, this helps the learner and the teacher both to move on or to to work on other activities in future. This kind of list is called special attention list.